All right, it's 2024 here. Should men still be paying for dates? Why should a man pay for a date? Aren't we equal? Men and women are the same, feminism, all of that stuff. In this video, I'm going to talk about our modern day culture, where men are at, what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and what you can do as a woman to inspire a man to take care of you, to pay for all the dates, and to be the man that you need. Hello, I am Zach Rohde, and I am here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams by inspiring a man to cherish you with your feminine energy and with what I call feminine communication. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, make sure you do that below, hit the notification bell, and be sure to like this video because I'm going to make sure that it's a good one for you. All right, so there's three types of men out there. One type of man will actually lead a woman into splitting the bill, paying for some of the dates. Another type of man will not lead a woman into paying for half the dates or some of the dates, but he doesn't really enjoy paying for the dates. He does it more out of obligation because he's supposed to, because he wants to get laid, some kind of reason other than devotion. And then the third type of man, he does it because he loves taking care of a woman. He loves paying for dates. He loves leading her. He loves making a woman happy. That's a healthy masculine man, and that is the kind of man that you ideally want. Let's talk about the other two types for a moment. So, the man who leads a woman to split bills. This should never happen. I was this type of man, just so you know. I have done so many things that I am 100% against now. I used to be a playboy, basically, like a Peter Pan, never growing up, never really took career seriously, was just basically using women for sex, not really wanting any kind of serious commitment from them. And I would know that from the beginning, and I'd do it anyway. And I was also a huge cheapskate. I just didn't want to spend a whole bunch of money on women. So I would lead women into paying for the bills sometimes. Never the first date. I was willing, okay, I'm going to pay for the first one. That makes sense, and I don't want any awkwardness. But any future ones, I didn't think it was fair that they would be the one that just gets all these free meals and I had to pay for everything. Because I was still operating from this kind of feminist ideology, even though I thought that feminism was dumb. Like there was a lot of dumb things about it. But it was still conditioned into me, this whole equality thing. Now, just to be clear, I believe that men and women are equal. Like their needs are equal. They're both equally worthy of having their needs met. They're both equally important, but men and women are fundamentally different and should be in fundamentally different roles, right? A man's role is to lead, it's to provide, it's to protect, and a woman's role is to receive, it's to follow, it is to inspire, okay? And part of providing as a man is to pay for all dates. But I just didn't believe in that, and because that was because my masculine instinct wasn't fully online. It was a little bit online. It was online enough for me not to be fully in my feminine energy like a lot of men are today, but it wasn't online enough for me to feel that desire to want to take care of a woman. That's a really important desire for a man to have. It's the desire to take care of a woman, not as like this equal of like, hey, we're both roommates and taking care of each other, but more like a father would take care of a daughter kind of energy. And I'm not saying, hey, a woman is like a child. It's not about that, but it's that same kind of energy. And I have a daughter, so I know this. It's like, man, I love taking care of my daughter. I love providing for her. I love protecting her. I love making her happy as that father energy, daddy energy, okay? And that's a man's masculine instinct. When that instinct is fully online, that is how he will show up on dates. It's like he will pay for everything because he loves taking care of the woman. It's not to get laid. It's not because he's supposed to. It's because it feels so good for him to do something to take care of the woman. This is assuming, of course, that she's grateful and that she's receptive and that she's not argumentative, that she's in her feminine energy, right? Masculine men want to take care of feminine women. They don't want to take care of women who are entitled in any way to their provision or are argumentative, resistant, or just not pleasant to be with. So if you are meeting men who want to do the 50-50 thing, It's because their instinct is not online and they've been culturally indoctrinated into this whole, like, we're basically the same. You want to avoid those men as much as possible. It's not that you couldn't inspire them. Like, if you implemented everything that I teach, you might become so feminine that you can inspire those kind of men into wanting to fully provide for a woman. And you should become that feminine, that you can do that. But if you did become that feminine, you're probably not going to want to be with those men in the first place, right? You're going to want to be with men that have been spending way more of their time, years, their entire lifetime, much more in their masculine energy, and have cultivated that, because you're going to feel so much more of their strength and their heart, and they're going to be so much more competent to leading, okay? So you want to avoid those kind of men. If you are attracting those kind of men, here's the thing. Some women, like certainly in European countries where there seems to be a lot more of these men, especially like Scandinavian countries, there are going to be masculine men who want to pay everywhere. It might be a minority of men, but those men exist. And if you're not attracting those men, there's something that you're doing to attract the wrong kind of men, and more importantly, to not attract the right kind of men. So they are out there, and by using this work, by learning feminine communication, shifting your energy, you'll find them without even trying. They come to you. You attract them. You just kind of do your thing. You just kind of have fun, whether it's online, offline, doesn't matter. Second type of man is one who is paying for everything, but he doesn't really enjoy it. He's doing it out of obligation. He's doing it to get laid. He's doing it for some kind of reason other than devotion. And what's tricky for women is that these men might look like the devotional man, right? Their behavior is very similar. So you might be like, oh, wow, he's taking care of me. He's paying for everything. He's not complaining about it. He's not suggesting that I have to pay. I took out my purse and he said, no, put it away. It's like, wow, this guy must be really masculine. He certainly could be. But there's a lot of men that just kind of act the part, and they do it because they think that they're supposed to. They are conditioned into doing it. They basically enslaved themselves to society. Because here's the thing. If a man is paying for a woman because he loves to pay for a woman, he is a free man. He's doing that of his own free choice energetically. But if a man is paying for a woman because it's what society expects of him, or it's what she expects of him, like he's projected unconscious expectations from the woman. If he is doing that, then he's actually enslaved himself to society and to you. He's complying with those expectations and not really making that choice from a place of true autonomy and sovereignty. That's a problem, because you're dating a slave. You're dating a slave that might look masculine in some ways. And so this is frustrating for women, because you date this man, maybe you go on a few dates, and he might be leading in every other way too. This is what makes it extra challenging. He's not just providing, he's also leading, he's planning the date, he's doing all of this stuff. So you think, oh my God, he's so masculine. But then later on, whether that's a month in, a few months in, once you move in with him, at some point in the future, you start to notice a lot of issues, a lot of red flags, where it's like, he's not really leading in the same kind of way. Now, one thing that's contributing to that is that you're not fully in your inspiring feminine energy. So this is what is horrible for women. You think that you're in your feminine energy. You think that you're inspiring because a man is showing up this way. But once he's kind of comfortable, all of his behaviors start to shift, and you're like, what the heck is going on? Like, I thought I found a really masculine man. And then you actually become much more masculinized, because it's like, he's not initiating, he's not planning, he's not doing these things, and you don't know how to stay in your feminine energy. So you go into your masculine, and then that just polarizes him even more into his feminine. He was always in his feminine energy, like naturally. It's just that he was acting the part of the masculine man, so it looked different than it actually was. But here's the interesting thing. If you actually revert more into your masculine energy when he does that, that means that you're actually innately much more in your masculine energy. That's your default. Because if it wasn't, you'd be able to stay much more in your feminine energy, even if he starts showing up in this way. And so my job, what I'm doing on these videos, and certainly what I do in my academy program, my books, and my masterclass, all of this, is to help you learn to shift so much into your feminine energy and stay in your feminine energy no matter what a man does. So if he stops paying and stops leading in some kind of way, or starts getting reactive, starts doing something that every woman has experienced to one degree or another, it doesn't affect you where you're now going into your masculine to try to control things. You stay in your feminine, you share vulnerably, you use feminine communication, you express yourself, you stay receptive, you ask for help. And what's going to happen is, most of the time, the man is able to polarize into his masculine. He actually starts healing at that point, because now you're actually inspiring him to be there. Because before, it wasn't real. It was just an act. He was paying because it was expected of him. And so that's not masculine. Well, it's not very unhealthy masculine energy, but it's not masculinity, we'll put it that way. But now when you start inspiring him, now you're inspiring him to heal his wounds, and it's true masculine energy that you're shifting him into, and he starts healing. And the more that you shift this, the more that you learn how to communicate in this way, the more vulnerable that you become, the more that you just learn how to flow as a woman, how to radiate as a woman. Your heart is on your sleeve, and you're in your self-worth, and you're not tolerating things that you shouldn't tolerate. What happens is you start attracting really masculine men who present as masculine from the beginning. And the more experienced that you are as a woman, the more that you'll be able to tell the difference between a legitimate masculine man who is leading, who's providing, who's paying for dates, all of this stuff because he loves doing it, versus one who's acting the part. It's like, your body, your gut instinct, your intuition is like more genius than all of the supercomputer AI bots combined. Not with being able to write essays and stuff, but by being able to sense where a man is at. But the problem is that you're not aware of what you are feeling, or some women are not aware of it, or you're gaslighting yourself, you're not paying attention to it, you're making excuses for it. But the feeling is there, somewhere in your gut, somewhere in your body, somewhere in your heart. You know the truth about a man. You know whether he's a true provider or a fake provider. And your job is to learn how to, number one, listen to your body, and number two, communicate what is coming up for you. Like all of your feelings, and because your body is telling you stuff all the time. All of your feelings, and doing it with feminine communication. And the more that you do that, the men who are not truly in their masculine, they're going to out themselves. And then it starts to become really obvious. But if you just hide, if you play it safe, if you don't share how you really feel, if you're wanting to avoid rocking the boat, then it's going to be harder for you to tell which kind of man is which, right? It's good that you're scaring men away. You want to scare away the men who are doing the 50-50 thing, and you want to scare away the men who are kind of just doing it to get laid or because it's what society expected. You want to learn how to attract really masculine men. That's all that matters. Or if you're already with a man, then you want to learn how to inspire him to be the most masculine man that you can be, that he can be. And to do that, you must learn how to be feminine. You must learn how to stay in that energy. You must learn feminine communication. You must learn how to let go. You must learn how to radiate. You must learn how to shift out of all of your control patterns. And the way to do that is to go below into the description, below this video. You're going to see a whole bunch of links to all of my offers. There's my academy, there's my books, there's my masterclass, there's my webinar, there's my women's dating course, and more. And click on one of those links and start learning, and then start implementing this into your life so that you can start making these shifts, and so that you can start attracting and inspiring the right kind of man into taking care of you, into cherishing you, because that's what you need and that's what you deserve.